100-day Unleashing My Superpowers campaign. 40 women across the globe sharing their stories how they navigated the male-dominated work environment to achieve. Today I have a phenomenal leader, a sister all the way from the US. She's worked in the gas industry for so many years. Please welcome Shannon Pierce. Shannon, she's currently the Vice President of Operations for Nico Gas, where she's responsible for providing strategic leadership for the company's operations. She received her undergraduate and law degree from the University of Virginia, where she currently serves on the board of managers for the university's Alumni Association. She's also an IWF fellow. I met Shannon in Miami. She's a phenomenal leader. Today you are going to hear how having a sponsor creates visibility for you. How many of you wonder you are a high achiever, but you don't seem to be getting ahead? You deliver, you do everything right. Now, visibility is key. And we're not talking about talent management where you get an opportunity to be visible. But today you're going to learn the key success factors of how you can actually be visible to get to the next level for your career. But I think most importantly, this is for corporates themselves. How do you create an environment where you create equality for everybody to have that visibility? I would like you to welcome Shannon and be inspired. Thank you. Why did you choose that industry which is so male dominated? Can you take us through your career, Shannon?
Enough. I actually tell people the industry chose me because my first law firm job was representing energy companies. So the first job out of law school, I worked for a firm where I was a summer intern.
Yeah.
And they asked me, what department I want to work in. And I said corporate services. And so when I got the job, they said, oh, you got the corporate services department. And they told me that my supervisor was going to be a man by the name of Jimmy Dimitri. So I looked up his name and he was in the energy and utilities department. And so I called HR and said, this might be a mistake. I have no technical background whatsoever. I'm an English major for a reason. And I want to work for the firm, but I'm not sure if this is the right fit for me. Yeah. And the HR director said, oh no, you're going to love it. It's a great team. We think it's a great fit for you. Just give it a try. And frankly, it was the only job offer I had at the time. So guess what? I took the job and so glad I did because it exposed me to an industry where I would have, again, never chosen for myself. And it was right around, this is 2001. So this is when a lot of things were happening in the energy industry that were very visible, like the emerging collapse of Enron. And so I found myself in this industry that was being talked about. So it's really tangible and really an exciting time, even though a chaotic time at the same time. And so then after spending 3 years at the law firm, one of our clients at the time, AGO Resources, asked me to join their legal department. And so I worked for the corporation in their in-house legal department. And so that's really how I got embedded into the business.
In your leadership journey, I would like to know your epiphany moment. And I mean, where you had a breakthrough in your career. So can you recall like 3 epiphany moments?
That was when I was in this regulatory affairs role, more of a strategy role, and still more in the support role, supporting the business. Yeah. I was told that leading large teams and leading frontline employees and getting what we call closer to the pipe in that operations for us was something that, again, I hadn't considered. But once I was told it was something I needed to do in order to continue to grow, not only as a person in this industry, but as a leader, because I would get the opportunity to lead a much larger team and lead our front line. The epiphany there was I absolutely loved it, had never considered it, and thought it was going to be out of my comfort zone. But it turns out I sort of leaned into my comfort zone because I have, again, this passion for people. And in operations, in addition to safety being first, and compliance and operating and maintaining our system for the benefit of our customers, operations is really about the people. And that was a tremendous experience for me, and glad that I was able to make that transition to broaden myself as a leader, because then leadership, my career became so much less about me and more about other people and leading and supporting and advocating for other people.
What do you think are some of the greatest barriers to career advancement for women that you yourself also, experience?
Women don't get the opportunity to engage with senior leaders. They get overlooked. They may get put in a box and say, oh, she only wants to do X. And it's like, no, it's just that she hasn't gotten the opportunity to do Y. She's only doing X because no one's given her the opportunity to do Y. And so I do think that exposure is probably one of the biggest barriers.
What should leaders be doing to help women who are struggling to break the glass ceiling?
For me, I know that I would not have progressed in the way that I have without sponsorship. As leaders, we have to be very intentional about identifying talent, cultivating that talent, and not just mentoring that talent, but sponsoring that talent. We as leaders have the privilege of being in rooms where we get to make decisions about people and succession planning. And we need to know who are the next generation of leaders, and again, be very intentional about sponsoring them. There is a model that my company, we often talk about, and it's called the PIE model. And PIE is performance, image, and exposure. And what the PIE model says is that as you progress through your career, performance ends up being about 10%. So it's not that you're saying that you have to perform at a 10% level. It's just saying when you're looking at leaders in progression, how you perform only really accounts for 10% of your evaluation. How people see you, that image, accounts for about 30%. But the largest component for progression is exposure. And the PIE model says that is 60% of what is taken into account in your career progression. Because here's the thing, and I experienced this early in my career, you can be a top performer, but if people don't really see you, and they don't have this image of what you can do, and that you don't get exposed to the right people who are in the room who can speak for you, then you won't progress. It is that simple. And so I think as leaders, we have to just make sure that we're very intentional about not only mentoring, but sponsoring, and being intentional about identifying those folks who may not get that exposure because folks are overlooking them. So who's that untapped talent in your organization, and how do we cultivate that talent, and how do we become sponsors for those folks?
Do you have any leadership regrets that you'd like to warn other people, or any leadership lessons?
In terms of lessons, for me, the biggest lesson was truly getting to the point where I understand what true leadership meant and the service aspect of leadership. I don't know if you recall when we were at Harvard Business School during the fellowship, and one of the professors talked about, how leaders should rise each morning with the notion of what can I do today to honor someone else's dream. For me, that is the biggest lesson, is truly realizing that, yes, do I want to continue to grow and develop in my career? Do I want to continue to progress? Absolutely. But I've gotten to this point where that's going to get taken care of. My job as a leader is to take care of my people.
Yes.
That I have the privilege of leading.
Yes.
And not just those who report to me, but others in the organization who are looking to me to model leadership, and they've watched my career and said, you know what, I could do that too. Absolutely. And what am I doing to honor their dream in a way that others have honored mine?
This was awesome. Thank you so much, Shannon.
Thank you. No, I am grateful that you have included me in this awesome endeavor. I'm just glad to play a small role in it, and I look forward to seeing it grow and evolve, and I look forward to hearing how so many women are going to be impacted.
Thank you so much, Shannon. Thank you. I greatly appreciate it.